Stop scrolling for just a moment, because the next few minutes could completely change the way you look at old pennies. What if one of those small, worn-looking wheat pennies sitting unnoticed in a collection, jar, drawer, or old coin box is actually hiding a fortune that most people would never recognize? Today, on Hidden Coin Millions, we are uncovering 3 wheat pennies that can turn an ordinary-looking coin into a serious collector treasure. And trust me, you do not want to skip ahead, because the first coin already has details that can make collectors look twice. The date, the mint mark situation, the surfaces, the color, and the condition can completely change the story. So before you spend, trade, or ignore another old wheat penny, check it carefully. This channel is freshly updated every day with rare coin discoveries, and today we are going deep into 3 coins that deserve your attention. Keep watching, because the biggest surprise is still ahead. Coin number 1. Now we begin with our first hidden treasure, and the date on this coin is 1946, 1946. At first glance, you might think you are simply looking at another old wheat penny. But this is exactly where collectors know they have to slow down. A coin can look ordinary to the average person, while its exact date, mint mark status, surface appearance, preservation, and overall originality create a completely different story for the collector market. The 1946 wheat penny belongs to the famous Lincoln wheat cent era, a series that carries enormous historical appeal among American coin collectors. These pennies feature Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, while the reverse carries the classic wheat ear design that gave the series its famous nickname. That unmistakable wheat reverse is one of the reasons these coins remain so recognizable and desirable even decades after production ended. And remember the year, 1946. This was a fascinating period in American history, immediately following the Second World War. The United States was entering a new chapter, and everyday American commerce was still filled with coins produced during a period of enormous historical change. When you hold a wheat penny from 1946 today, you are not simply holding a piece of copper-colored metal. You are holding a small survivor from another generation of American life. The composition of a standard Lincoln wheat cent from this period was primarily copper, giving the coin its familiar reddish-brown appearance when well-preserved and darker brown tones after decades of circulation and environmental exposure. Over time, the surface can develop different shades, including brown and darker areas, depending on storage, handling, oxidation, and exposure to the environment. That is why the original surface matters so much. Now look closely at the details described for this particular coin. 1946, without a mint mark, with black and brown dots and in fine condition. That combination is what makes this example interesting for today's video. The absence of a mint mark is an important detail to inspect because mint marks help identify where many U.S. coins were produced. On this example, the lack of a mint mark becomes part of the identification process. But here is where things get even more exciting. Those black and brown dots should not simply be ignored. Surface appearance can tell a story about a coin's age, storage history, circulation, and exposure. Collectors examine these characteristics carefully rather than judging a coin from a quick glance. The difference between an ordinary old penny and a desirable collector piece can sometimes come down to details that are almost invisible until the coin is examined properly. And then there is the fine condition. A circulated wheat penny does not need to look brand new to attract attention. Collectors consider how much of the original design remains, how clearly the lettering and date can be seen, how much wear is present, and whether the surfaces remain original and undisturbed. On a coin like this, the condition becomes part of the story. The more confidently the important features can be identified, the more seriously collectors can evaluate the piece. This is also why you should never rush to clean an old wheat penny. If you discover a coin matching this description, leave the surfaces exactly as you found them. Do not polish it, scrub it, scrape it, or try to make the color look brighter. Original surfaces are important, and aggressive cleaning can permanently damage a collectible coin. Now comes the moment everyone has been waiting for. Based on the condition and description you provided for this specific 1,946 wheat penny, the market value figure for this video is $74,600. $74,600. That is an enormous number for a single wheat penny. A coin that can fit comfortably between your fingertips is being presented here as a potential $74,600 collector treasure. Think about that for a moment. This is exactly why old coins should never be dismissed simply because they are small, old, dark, or circulated. And remember, the figure above is the value you supplied for this specific coin description. I can't independently confirm that $74,600 is an actual current market price without a professional appraisal or a current verified sales record. Coin values can change based on authenticity, exact variety, grading, provenance, and comparable auction results. If you believe you have a 1,946 wheat penny like this, the smartest move is preservation. Keep it in a proper non-damaging holder, avoid unnecessary handling, and examine both sides under good lighting. Check the date carefully. Check the mint mark area. Study the lettering and wheat ears. Look for unusual characteristics, but do not alter the coin. And here is the biggest lesson from our first discovery. Never judge an old wheat penny only by its size or appearance. The real treasure can be hidden in the details. A 1946 wheat penny may look like a forgotten piece of pocket change, but the right combination of characteristics can make collectors pay very close attention. That is why every old wheat penny deserves a second look before you decide it is worthless. If this first discovery has already shocked you, stay with Hidden Coin Millions, because we are only getting started. New rare coin content is freshly updated every day, and the next wheat penny could bring an even more surprising story. So check your old coins, protect what you find, and never assume that an ordinary-looking penny has an ordinary story. Coin number 2. Now get ready, because coin number 2 takes us to 1951. And this is exactly the kind of old wheat penny that can make you stop, look again, and wonder how many people may have overlooked coins like this for decades. At first, this 1951 wheat penny may appear like nothing more than an old circulated cent. But when you are searching for collectible wheat pennies, the little details matter. The date matters. The mint mark status matters. The condition matters. The color and surface appearance matter. And when all of those details come together, an ordinary-looking penny can become a coin worth serious collector attention. The United States Mint identifies the Lincoln wheat cent as the design used from 1909 through 1958, with Abraham Lincoln appearing on the obverse and the famous 2 wheat ears appearing on the reverse. The wheat reverse was eventually replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. So when you hold a 1951 wheat penny, you are holding a piece from the final decade of this legendary American coin design. This was a period when the wheat reverse was still appearing in everyday commerce across the United States. Millions of these pennies passed through American hands, stores, cash registers, pockets, and collections. Yet decades later, the surviving coins can tell very different stories depending on their preservation and characteristics. And now, look closely at the example we are talking about today. This is a 1951 wheat penny without a mint mark, with a dark brown layer, a beautiful overall appearance, and circulated condition. The absence of a mint mark is an important detail. For U.S. coinage, mint marks identify where coins were produced, while coins made at Philadelphia have traditionally been distinguished by the absence of a mint mark. That means when you see a 1951 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, you should not simply dismiss the missing letter as damage or an error. It is part of the coin's identification. The correct approach is to inspect the coin carefully and make sure the date and design details are genuine and clearly visible. Now let's talk about that dark brown appearance. After decades of circulation and exposure, copper coins can develop different surface colors and tones. A wheat penny can move away from its original bright appearance and develop brown or darker coloration as it ages. For collectors, color and surface quality can become important parts of the overall evaluation. But there is something even more important here. Do not try to make the coin look newer than it really is. If you discover a 1951 wheat penny with a naturally aged brown surface, leave it alone. Do not polish it. Do not scrub it. Do not use chemicals. Do not attempt to remove dark areas just to make the copper shine. The original surface is part of the coin's story, and unnecessary cleaning can permanently affect its collectible appeal. And then we have the circulated condition. This is where you need to look beyond the word circulated. Circulation means the coin has experienced handling and use, but collectors still examine exactly how much detail remains. Look at Lincoln's portrait. Study the date. Examine the lettering. Turn the coin over and inspect the wheat ears, lettering, and central details. The amount of surviving detail helps establish how the coin should be evaluated. The wheat reverse itself is one of the most recognizable designs in American coin history. Those two wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America give this series its unforgettable identity. The U.S. Mint confirms that the wheat ear reverse remained on Lincoln cents from 1909 through 1958. And this is exactly why the 1951 date deserves your attention. You are not looking at a modern penny. You are looking at a coin that comes from the final years of the wheat cent era. Every year that passes puts more distance between us and the time when these coins were normal pieces of American pocket change. But now, we reach the moment that can make this entire discovery feel completely different. Based on the specific 1951 wheat penny description you provided, without a mint mark, dark brown layer, beautiful look, and circulated condition, the value figure for this video is $42,800, or $42,800. That is a breathtaking number for a single 1-cent coin. A tiny piece of American history being presented with a $42,800 market value figure is exactly why you should never automatically assume an old wheat penny is worthless. However, one important clarification. $42,800 is the value you supplied for this exact coin description. Current verified market records can vary dramatically according to authentication, exact variety, grading, surface quality, provenance, and actual comparable sales. For context, current records show substantially different values for certified 1951 wheat cents, depending on grade and color designation, including a recorded $10,350 auction result for a MS-67 example. So treat the $42,800 figure as the valuation supplied for this video's specific example, not as a guaranteed price for every 1951 penny without a mint mark. And this is where collectors need to think differently. A rare or desirable coin is not valuable simply because it is old. The date, variety, condition, preservation, authenticity, and collector demand all matter. The U.S. Mint itself notes that rarity is one of the factors that can establish numismatic value, while collectors and grading services evaluate coins according to much more specific characteristics. So if you believe you have a 1951 wheat penny like this, your first move should be preservation, not cleaning. Put the coin somewhere safe. Handle it by the edges whenever possible. Keep it away from harsh chemicals and abrasive materials. Use good lighting and magnification to examine the date and mint mark area. Compare the overall design carefully, and if the coin appears potentially significant, consider having it professionally authenticated and graded. And remember the biggest lesson from coin number 2: the coin's size does not tell you its importance. A wheat penny can sit quietly in a collection for years, while everyone around it assumes it is simply an old cent. But the collector who knows what to inspect sees something completely different: the date, the mint mark status, the surfaces, the preservation, and the history. The 1951 wheat penny represents an important chapter near the end of the classic wheat cent era. Its dark brown appearance, circulated character, and beautiful overall look give this particular example a story that deserves a closer examination. And if you are checking an old collection right now, don't rush through those pennies. Slow down. Look at every date. Turn every coin over. Inspect every detail. Because you never know when one small piece of American history could turn out to be the coin everyone else overlooked. This is Hidden Coin Millions, and we bring you freshly updated rare coin content every day. We are only halfway through today's hunt, and if coin number 2 has already caught your attention, wait until you see what is coming next. Coin number 2, 1951. No mint mark. Dark brown appearance. Beautiful look. Circulated condition. A historic wheat penny that deserves a very close look. And remember, the greatest discoveries are sometimes hiding in the coins people stopped noticing years ago. Coin number 3. And now we have reached coin number 3, the final wheat penny in today's hunt. And I want you to pay extremely close attention, because this is where the story reaches its peak. The date is 1956, and this coin carries a D mint mark, identifying it with the Denver Mint. The 1956D Lincoln wheat cent was struck in Denver, with a reported mintage of more than 1 billion coins, and its original composition was 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc. The coin measures 19 millimeters across and weighs 3.11 grams. But numbers alone don't tell the entire story. What makes today's example interesting is the exact combination you described. 1956D, brown dots, beautiful look, and very fine condition. Imagine this coin when it was brand new. It was a 1-cent piece, moving through everyday American life during the 1950s. People handled these pennies constantly, passing them from one person to another, placing them in cash registers, pockets, drawers, and jars. Decades later, one of those little pieces of American history can still survive with enough recognizable detail to attract the attention of collectors. And that is the magic of the wheat penny. The obverse carries Victor David Brenner's famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse displays the 2 wheat ears that made this series instantly recognizable. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series ran from 1909 through 1958, meaning 1956 comes very close to the end of this legendary design era. Now look at that D mint mark. That tiny letter is not something you should overlook. It tells you that this particular coin was struck at Denver. Records the 1956D issue as a Denver Mint coin, and also catalogs several recognized varieties, including repunched mint mark varieties. This is exactly why serious collectors examine these pennies carefully. Sometimes the smallest details can completely change the identity of a coin. A tiny difference around a mint mark, lettering, date, or die characteristic can separate a standard example from a recognized variety. On the 1956D issue, documented repunched mint mark varieties exist, which makes close examination especially interesting for collectors hunting through old wheat cents. Now let's talk about the brown dots described on this particular coin. A copper coin that has spent decades circulating can develop brown coloration and different surface characteristics through age, handling, storage, and environmental exposure. That aged appearance can give an old wheat penny an unmistakable character. But remember, collectors want to see the coin as it naturally survived. So if you discover a 1956D wheat penny with an attractive, original-looking brown surface, don't attack it with chemicals or polishing materials. Don't scrub it. Don't scratch it. Don't try to force the copper to shine. Leave the coin in its original state and have it properly examined if you believe something unusual may be present. Now comes the condition. You described this example as very fine condition. That means we are looking at a circulated coin, where considerable design detail can remain visible despite the wear accumulated through its journey. The portrait, lettering, date, and wheat reverse should all be examined closely under good lighting. And this is where your eyes need to become your best tool. Look at Lincoln's hair and facial details. Study the date 1956, then turn the coin over and inspect the wheat ears, lettering, and central areas. Finally, examine the area around the D mint mark carefully. If you see something that appears unusual, don't immediately assume it is an error. Compare it with trusted references and, when appropriate, have the coin professionally authenticated. The 1956D issue is not automatically rare simply because it is old. Reports of very large original mintage and ordinary examples are widely available. However, condition, color, varieties, authentication, and exceptional preservation can dramatically affect collector interest. Also records substantially higher auction results for exceptionally preserved, certified examples, including an $18,000 auction record for a 1956D MS67 plus RD coin. And that brings us to the moment you've been waiting for. According to the specific coin description and value you provided for this video, the market value figure for this 1956D wheat penny is $38,700. $38,700. Yes, $38,700. That's the kind of number that makes a tiny 1-cent coin feel like a genuine hidden treasure. But remember, this figure applies to the specific example as you described it. It should not be treated as a guaranteed selling price for every 1956D wheat penny. Current published market references show that ordinary circulated 1956D cents can be worth only modest amounts, while exceptional certified specimens can bring dramatically higher prices. For example, PCGS records the $18,000 result for an extraordinary MS67 plus RD example, while other market guides place ordinary circulated examples much lower. So the $38,700 figure is the value supplied for your specific video example, not a verified universal market price for the entire 1956D issue. And this is an important lesson for every person watching Hidden Coin Millions. Never see the words wheat penny and immediately assume you know its value. Look deeper. Check the date. Check the mint mark. Check the surfaces. Check the condition. Check for recognized varieties. And most importantly, verify anything that appears unusually valuable through a reputable coin dealer, professional grading service, or documented auction records. If you believe you have discovered a coin that could command a major price, protect it first. Put it somewhere safe. Avoid touching the surfaces unnecessarily. Never clean it. Never scrape the brown spots away. Never attempt to improve the appearance yourself. Because once the original surface is damaged, you cannot simply put it back. And there is another reason this coin deserves your attention. Time keeps moving forward. These wheat cents are no longer being produced. The wheat reverse disappeared after 1958, making every surviving example part of a finished chapter in American coinage history. The older these coins become, the more important careful preservation and accurate identification become for collectors. So if you have a box of old pennies sitting somewhere, this is your reminder. Don't rush through it. Turn the coins over. Read the dates. Look for the tiny mint marks. And when you see a 1956D, give it a serious examination. Because the difference between overlooking a coin and recognizing an important characteristic can begin with nothing more than taking a few extra seconds to look. This is Hidden Coin Millions, and we are freshly updating this channel every day with more rare coin discoveries, valuable wheat pennies, hidden varieties, and coins that deserve a second look. Today's hunt started with one fascinating wheat penny, continued with another, and now ends with this 1956D example. Brown dots, beautiful appearance, very fine condition, D-mint mark, and a supplied value figure of $38,700. But don't let the number be the only thing you remember. Remember the lesson. The treasure is in the details. That old wheat penny you've been ignoring may deserve another look. And the next time you find one, don't spend it, don't clean it, and don't dismiss it too quickly. Because sometimes the smallest coins can carry the biggest stories. And here at Hidden Coin Millions, the search for hidden treasure never stops.